Rev up your engines! Now the Toyota RAV4 is Toyota's biggest SUV seller now. Here's a 19-year-old one, which will kind of show you the reason why. Because they can run forever. And this one lives up to its name. It really is a RAV4. It is a recreational activity vehicle, four-wheel drive. Now, they're not all four-wheel drive, but this one is. He hasn't had any problems, even though it lives in Massachusetts. You can see there's a tremendous amount of surface rust on the brake calipers. You're just going to get that here. We go under. Check it out. The frame is so solid. How can that possibly be? Now you see a lot of rust and corrosion on bare parts, but the frame, it's still really, really solid. And strangely enough, and you're not going to believe this, but it's true, it still has the original exhaust system in Massachusetts. And how can that be? Well, think about it. Toyota started aluminizing their exhaust systems ages ago, so they don't rot. My 94 Celica still has the original exhaust system on it. They also learned how to undercoat them. My 94 Celica really doesn't have any rust. And this, other than the superficial stuff. You're always going to see corrosion on the metal parts. They work perfectly fine. And as we go down here, here's the alternator. See the sticker there? The original Toyota alternator. It may be old, but it's still got anti-lock brakes. They still work. Variable valve timing. It's a small engine, but it will run forever. If you're looking at one, you want to look under the hood, because this is really important. This is a 2.0 liter four-cylinder engine. Probably the best engine Toyota ever put in these. You don't want to get one that has the 2.4 liter engine in it, because they all burn oil. They screwed up with the piston ring design and the pistons. So in this case, 2 liter is better than 2.4. The later ones, they made them better. But the 2.4s, you're looking at a used one, probably not a good idea unless the owner has proof that Toyota rebuilt the engine, replaced the pistons and the piston rings. In that case, it'd be perfectly fine. And if nobody has any records at all, you can do my old test. Do a wet and dry compression test. Take the spark plugs out, do a compression test, put a teaspoon of oil in each one, do another one. If the pressure goes way up, the piston rings are worn, don't buy it, unless it's dirt cheap. Now, the earlier ones like this, they're nothing like the new ones that are gigantic and are all yuppied up inside with all the bells and whistles. This, enough room to get around, got cloth seats that can last forever. And I really like them with these hard-shelled spare tires. And as you can see, a lot of room in the interior. You put the seats down, you can carry just about anything you want around. And look, you can see Toyota knew what they were doing. Massachusetts, there's a little tiny rust down here, but the rest is all clean. All the corners are good, they're not rotten. Close the back. It's solid, because guess what? Made in Japan. Now, as you can see, original radio, because it's got a CD player and, yes, a tape deck. It actually has a tape deck. You might wonder why. Well, my wife's Lexus has a tape deck in it too. The thing was, a lot of business people back in the day used to listen to these business tapes and, you know, self-awareness tapes, and they're always tapes. So Toyota left the tapes in a lot longer than other people, because they knew people were listening to those tapes, so they left it on with a CD player. Start up and listen to it. Sounds exactly like a RAV4. The good, solid engine. Doesn't burn oil. Now, he doesn't even know what kind of gas mileage he gets, because he doesn't care. It doesn't use much gas. It's kind of like both ends are the same. I got customers with Toyota Sequoias, and they don't know what kind of gas mileage they get either, because they say, I don't want to know, I just keep filling it up with gas. And in his case, he puts such a small amount of gas in it, he doesn't have any idea what kind of gas mileage it gets. If you don't care from that side, you're getting decent gas mileage. I mean, come on now, it's a Toyota. The cruise control even still works on it. Now, I do have to say, the AC isn't working. It doesn't blow cold, and it just started not blowing cold a couple of months ago. Doesn't get that hot here. You're by the ocean. Who really cares? He could add refrigerant if he wanted. All AC compressors leak somewhat. They have to, or the seals run dry. So, if he wants to do that, if not, he can just live without it. But he does have one problem. The brake pedal goes too far down, but then when you pump it, it gets hard. And from my experience, it's only one of two things. Either the rear brakes are too loose, or the master cylinder's gone out. So let's pull the rear brakes off. Oh, we jacked it up. You can see they spin free. They're not dragging at all, so they are somewhat loose. Then there, it's not dragging. So, pull off the wheels, pull off the drum, and I can see the star adjuster the whole way in. We're going to turn it to make it expand more, to make them tighter, because they're loose. What we're doing here is we're turning the star, and we're turning it up. We're pushing it up so the thread gets longer, and it makes the shoes tighter. Got it on. You can hear and feel a slight drag. We'll do the other side. Now this one doesn't need adjusting. It's snug. So it's just the one on the other side. But now the wheels are on. Lo and behold, check out that brake pedal. Hard as a rock. We'll take it for a spin. Now we're on the road, and yeah, this is a small vehicle, and it's an old one too. You're gonna feel bumps. It's not really all that bad, and you gotta consider, for a 19-year-old vehicle, it's still got the original struts and chocks on it. Yes, they are original, and I noticed when I did the brake job, they weren't leaking. And here we go on the road. Now, it's not a race car, but you step on the gas, it makes a strange buzzing sound. That's the noise these engines make, but it goes perfectly fine. Tracks down the road straight. It's a great little car. It's actually a second car. It's his beater car. He's got a 4Runner that's his favorite. Fun little vehicles to ride around in. So it may be old, but the brakes don't sink anymore, and it didn't cost anything to fix it at all. That's the thing about these old ones. They can run forever. Everything on them is fixable. And with that 2-liter engine, just remember, 2-liter, don't get the 2.4. 2-liter engine, they can last forever, get good gas mileage. And this one with all-wheel drive, you're not going to get stuck anywhere. If you can find one of these things around, as you saw in this video, it may have lived in Massachusetts its whole life, but it's not rotting away because Toyota knows how to seal the systems. If this had been an American car, it would have been in a junkyard 10, 15 years ago, all rotted away with the wheels falling off of it. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, you know, I tell you about poor quality control in Mercedes-Benz. Well, they just recalled almost every single model that they've made. They recalled 234,684 of almost every single model that they make, including their real expensive AMG S-classes. So you spend 220 plus, you gotta get it recalled because guess what? Their great electronic system that's supposed to save you and call if you get in an accident, turns out it doesn't work all that well. So the emergency call system that's built into these expensive cars may not make an emergency call if you smash your Mercedes up. SIM card, come on now. Hey, pretty old technology. You think the Germans could have figured that one out by now? Yeah? Don't put a cheap SIM card in, put a good one. And if you follow it at all, you know, a few months ago they recalled a bunch of them because the rear view cameras didn't work right either. There's a safety defect. You might think that expensive car is going to save you, but no, it isn't going to. Don Jones 95 says, Hyundai screwed me over with a bad engine. I'm not sure what to do. I got a 2017 Hyundai Elantra 2.0 4-cylinder. I bought it used with 40,000 miles. The engine was replaced due to a failed bearing, which I was told to be a new engine, but instead it was a salvaged engine. Within 6 days it overheated and it seized. They said I have a blown gasket. Now, they said I have to pay for it, not them. Who knows what they did? They might have just put gasket sealer in the radiator. I don't know what they did. You can't trust these guys. They're clowns, especially at the Hyundai dealers. The Hyundai dealers back then, they were hiring anybody because the company was growing and they're having growing pains. They're opening up places. They didn't have anybody to work there. They'd hire anybody. The guys didn't know what the heck they were doing. It's just not a good company. They don't build them that well, and the guys in the United States don't fix them that well. As you found, you're kind of screwed. Hire a lawyer. Because if they're going to say, well, it's your dollar now, we fixed it. Yeah, they fixed the engine incorrectly numerous times. Probably just put a junkyard engine in the thing. Don't buy another one. That's all I got to say. Probably have to hire a lawyer now because they're not going to do anything for free. But don't buy one in the first place. They don't fix them right. They don't build them right, and they don't stand behind their own warranties either. Oh yeah, we'll fix your engine, put some junkyard engine in the thing. It's just ridiculous what those places do. It's why I say don't buy them. I've had other customers have the same thing, only they didn't get a used engine. They actually rebuilt the ones that they had. And then 6-9 months later, they broke it, and the dealer would say, oh, well, we fixed it right. You got a hole in your radiator. That's your problem. We're not paying for it. They always are looking for excuses, and they do crappy work. Hawaiian Style 417 says, I get a noise when I make a turn. When I turn, I get a popping noise. My dad and I lube the upper and lower control arms. It still happens. What do you think? First, you got to see, is it your CV shafts? I'll often go bad and do that. And here's the best test is make a really hard left turn and accelerate at the same time when there's nobody around. You hear clickety, clickety, click, and you make a sharp right one, and you don't hear clickety, clickety, click. If you hear it both ways, they're both shot. Now, if the noise doesn't change as you turn and accelerate, it's not the joints, because they'll get really loud when you do that. Then you got to pop a noise. It can be your strut mounts are worn. It can be the ball joints are worn. It can be the tie rods are worn. It can be the sway bar links are worn and they're clanging back and forth. Lots of things can do it, but start with that test of the drive shaft first. And if it's not that, watch my video, Finding the Source of Car Noises, Scotty. We mechanics have sound listening devices. You can buy one online for $69 on Amazon today. You stick little clips all over the car. You wear headphones while somebody else is driving. If it's got 6 units, your control unit will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you click back and forth till the noise is the loudest. You know that's the area the noise is coming from. They work quite well for finding odd noises. Let's say it was the strut on the right side and the bearing was going. You put it on the top, under the hood, on the top of the strut bearing, and if you hear the noise there, you know it needs a new strut bearing. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.